When a man stops talking, watch out.
Why did you get a divorce?
I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with who I was. I didn't have peace in my home.
Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is disappoint people. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let go.
I got to a point where I just said enough is enough.
Take your time. Don't do it until you know.
You
for
got to
real.
know, because everybody deserves a voice.
You're not alone. You're not the only person who's been there, and you won't be the last. Hello, family. I'm so excited about this episode. This is so great. We got a lot to talk about in this episode, but welcome to my Double podcast. We definitely are a safe place for you guys. And, we want you to become a part of our community and our family. We're on all social media platforms. We are on Instagram at My Double Podcast. We're on TikTok as Be Mom 40. And you can also follow us with the Bonus Club too, which is specifically mine and just talks about all things bonus. And you can see my life as a bonus mom. But please like, subscribe, comment. We want to hear your feedback. We want to know how we're doing, what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like for us to discuss. And that is actually what we're talking about today. It's kind of intertwining things. We're going to talk about some of the comments and questions that we've received, in addition to talking about my book, Bridging Hearts, a guide to help blended families come together. I can't believe I'm saying that I actually wrote something, but I did. So in us responding to some of your comments and actually some of your questions, I'm going to reference some things that I also wrote in the book that I think will help with some of these questions that came about.
Sounds good.
So are you ready for this?
Always.
Right, because it's a doozy. Some of these are doozy.
Let's go.
So the first question, sir, is to you, Dad.
How do I start?
Okay. Question was, why did you get a divorce? Come on, y'all. It really, it always gonna take somebody.
Asking the question.
Yeah.
You ask it. That's gonna be the first question.
That's the first question, because and he had eyes behind it. Like, I want to know. Like, tell me now. So, bruh, you about to hear it. Why did you get a divorce?
Why did I get a divorce? I have told this story often. I got married very young. I was 21. She and I both were 21. I was going on 22. When we got married, we were high school sweethearts. We met in church when we were about 15 or so.
Okay.
And we kind of grew up together in church that way, and started dating while we were still in high school. And, for me, I was never the cool guy. I was never the trendy guy. I was never the, I never wore the latest fashion. I never, did any of that. And so, she was a beautiful girl, and light skin, green eyes, and at that time, light skin was in.
Oh, God. Brown was always in. Brown was always
red. She was red bone. And we were. Again, high school, and what high school is like, raging hormones, and we clicked. And growing up in church, I always knew how things should go. And at that time in my life, I just felt like I wanted to be in good standing with God. If there were going to be activities that I was going to be involved in.
Just say sex, please. Go ahead.
What show is this?
The truth.
Okay. if we were going to be having asking,
Oh my God.
and I felt the need for us to, do it right. So, so I went on and I asked for her hand in marriage, and we got married at 21. And that's just too young. I mean, I do feel like that's not old enough to truly know who you are. And that's for both of us individually. I felt like we grew up together. And what I have learned since my divorce is that in marriage, everybody changes. It's inevitable. You should change, right? It's just important that you change together and not change apart. And in my opinion, as the years grew on with the two of us, we dated for 5, we were married for 7, so you're talking 12 years. In that 12-year span of time, in my opinion, by the time we got to the end of it, we had just kind of grown apart. And I was the one that asked for the divorce. I was the one that went through with the divorce because I just had lost track of myself. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with who I was. I wasn't happy with I didn't have peace in my home. And we had more quiet nights than we had, happy nights. There's an old song in the church that says, I won't complain. It says, all my good days outweigh my bad. We married.
Go ahead.
All my good days outweigh my bad days, and I won't complain. I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel that way in our marriage. I felt like all of our good days did not outweigh our bad days. I felt like it was opposite. I felt like our bad days outweighed our good days. And, just for my own mental health and well-being, I got to a point where I just said enough is enough. I said when. And I was the one that said that I wanted a divorce. Wasn't an easy process. We had 2 girls. At the time of the divorce, they were 4 and 5, 3 and 4, 4 and 5, somewhere in there. And that was the story. That's how I ended up divorced.
Okay. So in the book, I wrote a chapter called The Breaking Point, When Love Isn't Enough. And that in the book is specifically about my husband and his divorce process. I didn't go about it just behind his back. It was something that we honestly talked about in the first season, things that we talked about privately and then shared. And I'm going to share a little bit from that chapter. The chapter is broken down by different events that happened in his life, and then how he got to making a decision and things, and pivotal points in his life, as well as things that he would say to others who are going through the same thing. So the part that I'm going to do too, but the unraveling, I think, is a great part of the book that I'm going to go off of what you just said. So in the book, I said, it's called The Unraveling, and it says, we had become roommates who happened to share children. We were polite, functional, efficient. We tag team parenting duties. We managed schedules, paid bills, but we hadn't really seen each other in years. The arguments weren't even passionate anymore. They were tired, repetitive, the same scripts we'd been running for years. Money, responsibilities, who forgot what, who didn't do their share. We'd reached that dangerous place where silence was easier than trying. But silence has a way of growing, spreading until it fills every corner of your life. I started longer routes home from work. I'd sit in my car in the driveway for 10, 15 minutes, stealing myself to walk through the front door and put that mask again on. The mask of happy husband, devoted father, the man who had it all together.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Sure. I remember sitting in the driveway. I sat in the driveway one night and just cried. Like, I don't want to go inside, And I didn't hate my ex-wife at all. I don't hate her now. When we got married, there was genuine love there. We just were young. And I won't even put it on us, I'll put it on me. I was young. And I without sounding like a broken record, without being redundant, I just didn't know me. And so I made a lot of concessions. I made a lot of changes. I've shared in the past that I was very passive. So I was willing to just always be, to me, in my opinion, I felt like I was always the one making the concessions to, make changes and things of that sort. And after a while, I was like, now where am I again? And so I would pull up to the driveway sometimes and just sit in my car, and just gather my thoughts and prepare myself for walking into a house, not necessarily knowing what kind of night it was going to be. Some nights it was good, but like I said, all of our good days didn't outweigh the bad days. So most nights it was just like, okay, what I do now? Wow.
So that point where you felt like you'd reached a dangerous place where silence was easier than trying?
Well, I mean, that's just, after a while, especially as men, listen to me. When a man stops talking, watch out. Because women often, I won't use a sweeping statement and say always, I'll say often. Women oftentimes like to say, men don't share, men don't communicate, men don't open up. You're so closed. Men internalize everything. You live in your head. That's not necessarily true. It's just that men will never share like women share. We're not emotionally made up like y'all are. We are not into the details like y'all are. We don't need to say everything. We just need to say what we need to say. But a lot of times what happens is that when we say what we need to say, it gets met with, you either offended, or a lot of times it gets turned around and thrown back at us, like it gets diminished, it gets belittled, it gets trampled on. And so a man just, don't worry about it, I won't say anything else. And when a man stops talking,
be scared. No, I'm not.
No,
I'm not saying it to be.
You don't
funny.
need to be scared. Like you don't need to be scared.
But that's a sign.
You don't need to be scared, like fearful of him blowing up and exploding or anything like that. That's not what I mean when I say but yeah, you should feel like
something's not right.
Sometimes you got to just let him share, and so it got to a point where it was just like it was easier to be quiet.
Gotcha.
It was easier to keep everything to myself and not say what for.
So in that same chapter, I wrote a part called The Raw Truth. And in The Raw Truth, it says, divorce in church, divorce as a father, divorce when you're supposed to have all the answers strips you bare. It forces you to look at who you are when everything you thought defined you falls away. But here's what we discovered. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is disappoint people. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let go. And sometimes the most faithful thing you can do is trust that God's plan for your happiness might look different than everyone else's expectations. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
And that's that right there. I'm not even going to go even more on that part. I'm going to just stop right there because I think that should help somebody. That especially that part is what that I stated. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is disappoint people.
Especially when that's not your heart, when that's not a lot of times you get stuck in a place too long because of of the fear of disappointing, not wanting to disappoint. When in all actuality, guess who you are disappointing? You're disappointing yourself.
Yep.
So, it's not to be selfish. It's not to, saying, yes, marriage is selfless. Yes, when you have a family, you're supposed to consider your family above all else. Yes. But I made the decision to do what I felt was best for my mental health, my peace.
Yeah.
I'll even go as far as saying my happiness. But I think it was about more peace than happiness, you know. And you got to pray about whether or not that's the right decision for you. But for me, it was, you know, and as I look back, you know, I know it was the right decision because I'm sitting across the table.
Yeah, I'm hoping for those who are not,
Y'all
can't
see
see this, but for those who do see it, boy.
See? You see what I'm saying?
No, that was good though. And I hope that helps, you know, for the person that asked that question, gives you a little bit more enlightenment of, you know, why and where he was at the time. And, you know, getting married very early in life, was never my thing. I wanted to travel and enjoy the world. But for those who are, you know, in that place, in that predicament, or even thinking the things that he thought, or going through the things that he experienced, for that person who's sitting in the driveway right now, you're not alone. You're not the only person who's been there, and you won't be the last, but you'll get through it. Whatever decision is made, you'll get through it. So, okay, we're gonna go to the next question. This one is like, okay, when I read it, I was like, girl, it says, I'm engaged and will enter into a blended situation, but I'm having second thoughts. I don't know if I want to do this. You waited till you got engaged to do it, to figure it out? Like, wait, we were supposed to do this before. What changed? I really wanted to say that, like, what changed? Did something transpire that caused a shift? You know, because you got all the way up to getting a ring. Did you assume that things were going to go more so your way once you got the ring, and you don't see that happening? Because the ring is the ring. You haven't made it to up the aisle yet to say I do. And now you're having thoughts like, I don't know if I want this, or is there involvement from the ex? I don't know. There could be so many different layers to peel back on that. But I want to go directly right into the book on that, because I have chapter 4 called The Paradox of Chosen Family. And it says, here's what society doesn't tell you about bonus parents. Okay. And I'm saying this to you because if you're engaged, you have to think about all of these aspects. Okay. They often love more intentionally than anyone else in the family system. Think about it. Biological parents love because it's wired into them, a beautiful, instinctful bond that begins before birth. But bonus parents, they love because they decide to. It's your decision every day, through tantrums, teenage attitudes, through loyalty, conflicts, holiday complications, though through moments when the child might even say, you're not my real parent. You're making a choice. That choice, that daily decision, is to show up, care, and invest, creates a different kind of bond. Not better or worse than the biological love, but undeniably powerful in its own right. It's love stripped of obligation and rebuilt on purpose. So to you, this chosen love comes with a unique vulnerability. And the question to you is, have you been vulnerable enough to allow yourself to love in a selfless way, that if you give yourself the opportunity, it'll expose you to a different type of love, a love that didn't not necessarily come from, as I've stated, bloodline, but everything is directed from heart because you made the choice to accept it. It's a choice. I said bonus parents often find themselves loving children who may never fully claim them back. They sign up for a lifetime of being significant to someone who might always see them as secondary. They pour their hearts into relationships where their contributions might be minimized, their authority questioned, and their sacrifices overlooked. This is the beautiful contradiction of being a bonus parent. You must be strong enough to love without reciprocal intensity, yet vulnerable enough to remain open to the connection. I think that says a lot.
Sure.
Because in previous episodes I've said that, you know, and to kind of go off the pretending, at some point you have to take off the pretending hat and realize your role and who you are. It may never be what you thought it should be or how it should be in your head, but you have to be okay with the beautiful contradiction and be strong enough to love without always getting it back exactly how you think you should, but getting it back in a way that still makes a difference.
It makes sense.
You know?
Yeah, sure, I agree. I'm only sitting here thinking to myself, if you now, I understand wanting to be sure.
Yeah.
Because that's just real, right? I don't know.
Don't go down that aisle.
You know what I'm saying? But if you know that you know, I ain't feeling this. This ain't working.
Don't do it. Take
Don't
it off.
do
put
it.
on the counter.
Don't. Because listen, you already are marrying into a blended situation. You marry into that blended situation, and then y'all mess around and get divorced. Don't mess around and have had a child of your own.
Oh, God.
Because guess what's going to happen?
That's another level.
That is
And
why
that becomes
listen.
an extension of
That is
to
why
another blended.
the statistics are what they are.
It's true. That's so true.
That is why, because the situation is just like that.
Take your time.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you, take your time. Don't do it until you know.
You got to know.
Like, put a pause, you know, and I know the children are a child. You didn't specify how many are, you know, might be involved in this, but it's better to know now and to put a pause on it now than to go through and bring that child through yet another marriage and things like that. It'll scar. It'll definitely scar that
honest
child.
with everybody.
Yeah, you got to be
honest with
honest.
yourself, honest with
Yourself first and foremost. Yes.
honest with the child.
Yes, please. So I hope that helped at some point, you know, and get the book, honey, because I have a whole chapter that talks about that tug of war, that struggle. You know, I mean, when we got engaged, I never questioned, like, do I want to marry him? Absolutely not. I knew that. I knew I wanted to marry. What?
I know that.
Boy, I was ready for it, but I did question, you know, what does this mean? Now I have to deal with, you know, the ex on a different level. Does it give me a little bit of leverage, or does it not? What does that look like? You know, I had to create that that place.
Sure.
Yeah. That's right. So that's that one. Okay, we got one more, and then we're going to take a break on this one because the last one is really, really good. So it says we're blended, and the parents, we love each other, but our kids hate each other. So it seems that they came together.
The Brady Bunch.
Like the Brady Bunch with kids of their own and now their kids are merging, and the kids ain't feeling it. That's different.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we necessarily didn't have that. Kirsten and Kyle were, you know, by themselves, and then, you know, then Carter and Cooper came. Do you have anything specific on that? Because I'm gonna go to a chapter that talks about that too specifically.
I hear it more often than not. You know, especially depending on the age. There's no telling what the
they didn't
ages
say
are.
that. Yeah.
You know, when you start to get into,
I should have asked that question.
Yeah. When you start to get into, you know, early teens, mid-teens, you know, if that's the case.
If that's the case,
typically younger children, they kind of can adapt. They see each other as friends. They don't necessarily grasp the whole bonus brother, bonus sister situation. They do, but not to the degree of what older, you know, adolescents and, you know, teenagers and things like that. They're going in. They know what's happening.
Yeah.
They're aware.
Yeah.
They know what this means. You know, when you start to merge two families together. And I can only imagine what that's like, you know. So yeah, share from the book.
So chapter 7, I went into, it's called The Crossroads, and a place of choice. You know, everything in life is a choice. We choose, you know, decisions we make, careers we decide to go on, and people who we marry, places we want to live, all of that, all of those things are a choice. And even this is. So I said specifically in this chapter, if you're reading this and still feeling stuck at crossroads, torn between loyalties, nursing hurts, or struggling to open your hearts. And before I go a little bit deeper, this specific chapter is geared toward the kids. And open your heart to your brilliant reality, knowing that you're not alone. Many children, teens, and even adults find themselves paralyzed by conflicting emotions. And you might be thinking, if I love my bonus parent, am I betraying my biological parent? If I accept this new family structure, does it mean I'm okay with my parents' divorce? If I get close to my bonus siblings, will my real siblings feel replaced? What if I open my heart and get hurt again? Those are a lot. If you take the time to sit with those kids, you'll be surprised at what they say. And sometimes not necessarily sitting with everyone together, sometimes taking the time to sit with each individual child and getting a better understanding of where they are mentally and emotionally in regards to you merging with someone who also had kids, especially if y'all all in the same house. And then coming together and talking through it, because the thing is, what we don't always give our children permission to do is you have permission to love multiple people. So, and I put in here, your heart isn't a pie with limited slices. It's more like a muscle that grows stronger the more you use it. And you have to give permission to your children to grieve and celebrate simultaneously. You can miss the way things used to be while also appreciating the way things are now. These feelings aren't contradictory, they're human. Then I said also, you have to allow your children permission to set boundaries. Blending doesn't mean erasing your individual needs, preferences, or comfort levels. You can participate in family unity while still honoring your own pace and process. Parents, you got to give that to them. You can't rush a child to be okay with a decision you as an adult made. Like, you can't do that. And then you have permission to change your mind. Maybe you rejected your blended family situation initially, but now you're curious about opening up. Maybe you embraced it quickly, but now you need some space to process it all. Growth isn't linear. Neither is it a family integration, you know. And the last thing is, you have permission. A child has a permission to write their own story. You're not responsible for managing everyone else's emotions or making all the adults happy. Hello. Your job is to grow into the fullest and most authentic version of yourself within whatever family structure you're in. These things I think are very key and critical for parents to really take into consideration for their children, especially teenagers. Teenagers struggle. They struggle more than younger because, as you said in the past episode, when they're younger, you have a tendency to be able to be, what's the word?
They're more impressionable.
But when you're a teenager, you saying your ways, you done got accustomed to your parents, your bio parent, and now you want me to embrace this person. I don't really know this person. And what makes you think they'll have an ulterior motive or something? That's what they're thinking, especially boys. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, but in the horizontal level, you know, as far as kids are concerned, I mean, it's hard enough for adults to process their emotions.
Yes.
It's hard enough for adults to be able to express their emotions, you know, express their feelings and their thoughts. You know, it's even that much harder for teenagers or children, you know, adolescents or young children. They can't. First of all, they don't always, especially if you've got an old school parent, you know, you're seen and not hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Because you're
you
taught.
Don't have
yes.
An you know, you still got folks' business. You know, I'm the parent.
Stay in the child's place.
Exactly. So when but when it comes to a blending situation, you can't necessarily take that direction. You can't take that. You know what I'm saying? Because they have to have the space to share. They have to be able to share. Why don't you get along with why don't you want to? Is it the case that you don't get along? Is it the case that you've tried it and it didn't work? Is it the case that you don't like their personality? Is it the case that you feel like you're being replaced?
Yep.
Is it the case that, you know what I'm saying, you just you're just selfish. That is a real
It's a real thing.
thing, that needs to be at least addressed, discussed, you know what I'm saying? Because of what happens when your teenager says, I'm just selfish. I don't want no
I don't want no
I don't
sibling.
want no sibling.
I don't know them people.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like, and,
You know?
and it's real. I've heard it. I don't know them people. And the thing, this is what I've heard. You want me to accept something that you never included me in from the beginning. That's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not. It's real talk. It's not fair. Parents, you cannot expect or want or make them happy because you happy. Now, granted, you want them, you have to do what's best for you as a parent. Don't get me wrong, because you are the parent. I'm not dismissing that. But goodness, like, come on, you don't expect it to be all roses, and think these kids not gonna have some type of issue with it, especially if they have a really strong relationship with the other bio parent and they never really fully grieved the separation of a divorce, whatever it was. Come on. It just don't work like that.
Yeah. Everybody has to have a voice.
Everybody
Because
has
everybody
to have
has
a
a
voice.
perspective. Everybody in the blended situation and the blended dynamic, I hate to use the word situation, I'm sorry, but everybody in the blended dynamic has to be able to share
Has to.
how they feel. That goes for the kids as well. That goes for the children as well. It cannot just be all about the adults and this is my happiness. This is my life. I'm in a stage in my life where I deserve to be happy. I understand
process
my
of
kids.
losing your
They'll be
children.
all right. They'll get over it. They just need to just keep giving it a try. And da. No, I get it. There are some truths to that. But in the grand scheme of things, the approach has to be totally different. You got to give them the opportunity to express it.
That's true. And in that expression, we want to express our gratitude. Tell them what we want to say. Express our gratitude for our.
Oh my goodness. We want to express our gratitude. That's so churchy. You talk about me, but you're churchy.
Boy, can you go?
You talk about me, but you're
I was
churchy.
grown. I was raised in the church. I love the Lord,
Yeah, but
and I serve
here
in
we go.
ministry now.
Here we go.
You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Now you're self-righteous.
Listen.
Every time I
lady.
start to get churchy, you got something to say.
Listen. Hallelujah. Come on, go. Show your gratitude. Give God praise for it. Sponsor. Go.
Thank you, God, for all of our amazing sponsors. We just want to thank everybody. We just want to thank you all for just continuing to support us with the My Dope Blend podcast, to support the Bonus Club, the community. It is so necessary, as you can see, why we developed and built and created this platform. Because everybody deserves a voice, right? And so your sponsorship does more than just puts us on the air. Your sponsorship gives everybody a voice.
Yes.
And so we just want to thank you and appreciate you. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the Bonus Club and to My Dope Blend podcast. Everybody who has joined the Bonus Club, that is where we really get into the weeds of things. If y'all think the show is something, y'all need to see some of this behind the scenes content that we put out only in the Bonus Club community.
Yep.
So you got to visit www.mydopeblend.com, go to Let's Blend and join the Bonus Club. That's how we can let you know all the great things we have going on. We got some special events that we'll be doing soon that we'll be letting you know about, but you've got to join the Bonus Club. Don't put it out there yet.
All right, I'm just saying.
But she working on it. So you see I don't know what the sway is.
I don't know. I don't know.
But thank you. Yes,
thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
and as we thank you all, we're going to talk about the last question. Okay. So we've been in this thing 13 years, and when people come to us, and we've at conferences, this has happened to us before, who've been in it 20 plus, and they still going through issues, you'd be like, wait a minute, what? Like y'all don't have it mastered yet? You supposed to be telling me, but who's to say that?
Yeah.
Really. So the question is, after 20 plus years, we still are blended, but in capital, not
What?
After 20 years, we are still in the book. We
I'm
still
just trying
a
to figure it out.
family, but no, we're really not.
Yeah, it's a fake. They're
Fake.
pretending.
They don't like each other. The kids don't come around if dad ain't there, because they don't want to deal with her. And she's trying to figure out, we've been married for over 20 plus years. What have I done? And the ex has never remarried. Look at my face and the string in my neck. Never remarried, which has caused another issue, because basically the older kids, they are grown. And the bonus parent feels like she has manipulated their way of thinking and really has turned them against her. And she's tried everything. And at one point she was able to get some traction, and then it shifted again. It's something about when the dad got sick. So I have 2 chapters in the book that when I read this comment, I was like, ooh, I know where to go with this. And one is in chapter 1. It's called Navigating Conflict with Compassion. Okay. And it says, conflict is inevitable in any family, especially in blended ones. The goal is not to avoid conflict, but to approach it constructively. Conflict can be an opportunity for growth when handled with compassion and mutual respect. Rather than focusing on winning an argument, shift the focus to solving the problem together. One effective strategy is to use I statements instead of you statements. For instance, instead of saying you never listen to me, try I feel I'm unheard when we don't discuss things openly. This approach reduces defensiveness and opens the door for dialogue. I also says another strategy is to practice the 24-hour rule. If a conflict arises and emotions run high, take 24 hours to cool off before revisiting the issue. This time allows emotions to settle and provides perspective. Now, what's so funny is, I have to say this, my book is Bridging Hearts. The next part of this is building bridges of understanding. Didn't even realize it. I'm just saying. To build bridges of understanding, engage in activities that foster connection. And like we talked about with the kids and the teenagers and taking time with each child, I think sometimes family meetings don't always need to be all of us together. It's one-on-one outings with that specific bonus child to get a connection, learning their love language individually. It creates a better safety net for the both of you. I don't think there's an age limit on that. And this is to you. I don't think it's over. I don't think there's no hope. I think there still is hope. There still is time to connect. Your approach may have to be different, but they also may need to see a connection with, you're not gonna like this, but with the ex-wife too. Maybe what they're seeing doesn't align with what you're trying to put out there for them. You're not, your actions aren't aligning to what you expect from them, and in turn they expect from you. They have to align. You can't be going off on their mother or feeling some type of way when that person walks in the room. I don't care where we are, and my husband can tell you this. I make it a point to speak to everybody, including their mother, including her mother, including her sisters, even if they don't speak back. Is that true? Because I never want the girls to get it, to see me in a light that doesn't represent who I truly am, because I let someone else's actions dictate my response. You're not gonna do that. Because in that, I can't teach them one thing and I'm doing another. That doesn't work. I'm a hypocrite. So I think, and you chime in with anything, I love that you and that 24-hour. Now, my mom used to say all the time, you're not going to bed until you apologize to us. She used to get on my nerves with that. But I think in this situation, the 24-hour rule may justify it. I don't know.
I don't know if that's relational, you know what I'm saying? I think that as I just think in general sometimes you got to know when it's time to resolve and when it's time to just hold on for a little while, give somebody space. Maybe you take your own space so that when you come back, you can have an intelligent conversation that where your emotions are not involved.
Yeah.
Because that a lot of times trying to fix something immediately or talking, we're going to talk about this, but the emotions are high, and then they mess around and they haul off and say something crazy. Now you can't take it back.
It's real talk,
so,
though. Like
you gotta know.
That's true.
You gotta know.
That's true.
You gotta know when to hold off. No, I don't need to talk right now. But we will. We will.
And you can't make
right
somebody
now.
talk to you.
No, you cannot.
They'll make them mad even more.
Correct.
Like, look, stop now.
Correct. I think too that there's a certain thing called the root of bitterness. The root of bitterness.
Okay.
Root of bitterness.
Okay.
That's a biblical, religious church thing, and I try not to preach. But the root of bitterness, that means that
You start asking these people to pass their plates. Go ahead, go. Sorry.
that means that everything has a starting point,
And
and everything traces back to something. So if you've been blending for 20 plus years and something still doesn't connect and something still isn't quite right and people still have, what I'm saying, there's still the subliminal hidden messages and the looks and there's a root of bitterness somewhere. It could have been when the child was 10.
that's so
It's true. And they heard you say something about their mom that they felt was disrespectful, and you never apologized, and they never heard you, and you never gave off the appearance that you were apologetic about it, or that and they carried that.
Yeah.
So here they are now, 30, 35, and they remember when you said your mama was a sorry sapsucker, and that made me laugh.
Sap sucker. Babe, that's a good way. That you Oh my God.
I'm just saying, somewhere along the way, something happened. No, something happened. Something was said. Something was done. You took your kids to McDonald's and didn't.
You ain't get that baby. No.
Listen.
Where's my Happy Meal?
There's a root of bitterness somewhere. Y'all laughing, but it's true. I'm telling you, and you would be surprised. You got some people that can hold grudges.
That's the truth. Oh my God.
For years. I mean, for years.
Yes.
You didn't give me, you got them Happy Meals, and you got me you didn't give me no Happy Meal. You got me a 6-piece that didn't come with a toy. They got toys, and I did not get a toy. We went to Burger King, and you got them the king
15 years.
crown, and you did not give me one.
Been holding this for 15 years.
It happens.
You ate enough Happy Meal for all of us.
It happens. It happens. So my thing would be pray. Everything starts with prayer. Pray
Back to church.
and ask God to expose the root of bitterness.
No, that's real.
Where's the root? I don't want to just deal with the aftermath of the root. Something caused it.
That's good.
Bring us
To the root of the problem.
expose where it started,
Yeah, I like that.
and let me deal with that.
And let me do
If I got to go back to that 10-year-old child and hug you and apologize for not getting you a Happy Meal.
How many people, no, seriously, now you just said a lot right there, because how many people are still sitting on that sofa when the other spouse said, I'm done, or in that lawyer's office when they signed the papers to their divorce, or, how many families are still in the house where they had to tell their kids, we're splitting, and the children had to go to their room and deal with it by themselves. And they 20, 30, 40 years old, but internally they still in that house, in that room.
Absolutely. That's the root.
That's the root. And a lot of people are still at that very place where that hurt
That's the root.
was.
And until the root is uprooted,
Yeah. Yep. That's,
people are stuck in the place of their pain.
they're stuck. So with that, I went to chapter 8 because chapter 8 is the last chapter in the book, but it is called The Beautiful Mess We Call Home.
Okay.
But in that specific chapter, I have a section called The Gift of Imperfect Love.
Okay.
In that I say, our family photos don't look like the ones in magazines.
Yeah.
We have different last names on some mail, complicated custody schedules that require color-coded calendars, and any holiday tradition that blend 3 different family histories into something uniquely ours. We've had fights and bedtimes and meltdowns and loyalties. We've navigated the delicate dance of discipline and even the more delicate dance of the bio-mom relationship. There have been tears and all those things, but here's the beautiful truth. I want every bonus parent to hear, it doesn't have to be perfect to be powerful. It doesn't have to be traditional to be transformational. God didn't call me to be the perfect bonus mom. He called me to be a present one. He didn't ask me to replace anyone. He asked me to add to the love that was already there. And in adding and showing up and choosing this family every single day, I found my calling.
Praise the Lord. You didn't preach.
Won't he do it?
Oh, my God.
No. But honestly, in that's true. So with that, I hope we've, kind of dug a little bit into some of the comments and things like that people have said, and I love them. These were good, and I want y'all to continue to comment, send us more stuff. More men. Let us know what y'all thinking. Y'all don't have to be vulnerable to me. Send it to Greg, DM him. He's tagged in all of our stuff. Let him know man to man, what you guys are dealing with and things like that. And he's a good sounding board for that. He's been through it all. He lives it every single day. So definitely do that. I'm going to do the Skittle challenge. We talk about it. I say I'm going to put it up on the screen. The different colors of the rainbow. You have your yellow, which talk about a fond memory. Green, always positive, good things. You have your red. That's caution, stop. Something is not right. And you have your orange, something that is like in between, things that you guys are working through, something that may have been questionable. And then you have your purple, which is basically something that describes. So in this, because we are talking about 4 different questions and things like that, it's not about us. This was about you guys. So today I'm going to eat a purple and yellow. I think you should eat a red and a orange. Eat it.
We don't have to.
No, because we're combining all these issues into one.
Okay.
And then we're going to eat the green together because we're going to pray and hope for positivity that's going to come through this.
Okay.
And then I want y'all to get the book. Get the book, sign up.
In the book says.
Get on the list for the book. I'm excited for you guys. I hope, just a little bit that I provided to you all will make you all be like, it sounds pretty good.
Sounds great.
So we love you guys. Remember, it is Bridging
Hearts.
Hearts.
Good on this cover. That's a nice looking cover.
Thank you, boo.
You look good.
Thank you.
Make me want to jump through that on that bridge.
Because we're bridging hearts.
Wait a minute.
Let's bridge them. But anyway, guys, come on, keep blending. We love you guys. Get on the list. To get the book. And any more questions, any more comments, keep it going. We're on all social media platforms. We love you. My Skittle, keep blending. Peace. Love y'all.